I'm John Rowland with Highland Park Lapidary, and I'm going to show you our little trick for how we sharpen blades. Now, in saying this, there's all kinds of opinions out there about how to sharpen blades. If you run saws for a very long time, you start recognizing that some of the ways that people recommend just don't work. The things that I've seen that, in my opinion, are useless are cutting a silicon carbide grinding wheel, sticking it in your vise and running it through. I've had saws that the blades are dull from cutting really hard petrified wood or mookaite or other hard materials, and sharpen with silicon carbide, and it does nothing. Slightly better than that is the tin oxide sticks. They have little square ones, and some of the saws will mount them in the back and then use them up against the blade. And honestly, for me, again, they don't do anything. If I got a saw that's loading up on me and I can hear it whining and laboring a little bit more, there's really only one way that I see is viable, which is using what is called a bastard file. Now this is a simple file that you can buy at any hardware store. They call it a bastard file, and it's got serrations on the face and it's got serrations on the edge. Now we care about these serrations on the edge because this is the edge we're going to use when we're sharpening. So basically, now this is a new blade and new saw, but I wanted to do this because there's so many people asking me for this video. But I'm going to demonstrate it. Now this blade is already pretty sharp. You can see the diamonds, and you can see that the edge of the segment is fully, the diamonds are fully exposed on it. It's ready to go. But I'm going to show you the technique on this anyway, and you can kind of see a little bit of the effect. But when you have a dull blade and you do this method, you're really going to see the difference, because what happens is, over a period of time, if you're running in hard materials, or you're running for a long period of time, or if you're running a viscosity of oil that's too high, like if you're using the Tractor Supply oil or the vet oil, that viscosity is about a 15 CST. That viscosity will affect the flow of the oil out around the segment and the flushing, and you'll see your blade gets dull faster. Now you can get away with using it, but you got to sharpen your blade. If you don't sharpen your blade, the first thing that's going to happen is you'll build up more heat in your oil, you'll put more wear on your feed components, and ultimately you'll end up with some kind of a feed failure, or worse case, you'll lock your saw up. It is possible to get your blade so dull that you lock up your saw. I've seen it happen. I've seen my guys do it in my shop, and that's why we put this technique in, and when we have the guys doing it on our saws, we never have a problem. You hear the saw starting to work too hard, you come over, you get your bastard file. You don't have to take anything apart. You don't have to put something else. Your rock can be in the vise. You can just back it up, and then you come over here, and with your file, you don't want it on an angle like this or like this. You can do an angle like this, but all you're going to do is you're going to ping every segment all the way around the blade. So you spend about 15 minutes, and now I don't hit it so hard that I'm knocking chips out. The amount that you saw me do right there, that's about what it is. Now if you go in close and look at this, it's a little harder to see when the blade's not dull, but you'll see I'm making little lines in there. Now what that does, this is a hardened tool. So this bastard file, it's hard enough that when it strikes the top of those diamonds, where they're polished, it will put a little crack in them. When it cracks them, now it got sharp edge exposed, and it's kind of breaking that glaze. And if you have a saw that's running and sitting there, sounding like it barely can get through the rock, and you come through and you ping it, and then you put it right back in that same rock, you'll be like, I can't hear it running. And it will be sitting there going like it should sound. All it needed was to be sharpened. That's probably about a $3 file. That's the cheapest way to sharpen your blade. It works every time.